it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video for you. We're gonna be testing out the new 2020 holiday collection from HourGlass, and well, it's not really the whole collection. I only bought the Sculpture Unlocked mini palette because I really didn't want a bigger palette, and I prefer, if I'm going to get a face palette, I like a 4-pan formula. So I was excited to try this because the last one of these I bought was like in 2016, which was like the rose gold packaging. So it's been a while. Because I don't really enjoy face palettes too much, but I saw this online and I was like, oh my goodness, I think all 4 of the colors are going to work well for me, so I was excited to play with it. Now, if you're wondering what I have on my eyes, I used the Sydney Grace times Mel Thompson Tiny Marbles palette. I don't know if you can still get this, but if you can, it is awesome. It's $52. Love this palette. It is one of my favorites, which is saying a lot. So this is what the outside box looks like. I ordered mine on release day from HourGlass, their own website. So this palette goes for $58. They have a bigger one, which was $80. But again, and it had different shades in it, and I just figured that this one would work for me. So this is what it looks like. You know, HourGlass is definitely luxe packaging. So that's what it looks like. And then you open her up, and those are what the 4 shades look like. So the first shade in here is the finishing powder, which is in Soft Light. Then we have the bronze in Golden Bronze Light. The blush is Mood Flush, which looks like that. And then the highlight is the Champagne Strobe Light. So that looks like that. So we've got, let me see, the Soft Light, the Golden Bronze Light, Mood Flush, and Champagne Strobe Light. So I was excited to play with these. I have all the rest of my face on except for blush, bronzer, finishing powder. So I guess what we'll start with is the finishing powder. I'm gonna grab, this is my BK Beauty Brush 104. And we're gonna go into that first shade. Now, the one thing I don't like about this size palette is when you like to use a bigger brush, it is kind of difficult to get into it. So one thing I like to do is I'll dip and brush towards the corner versus brushing towards the other shade. So that way I don't mix color. Okay. I'm looking in the mirror down here so that way I can kind of see what it's doing. Okay, I think I might need a little bit denser brush with this. This is a pure My Little Pony powder brush. I've had this thing forever. But I do love HourGlass's powder products. I just haven't had any in a while. My 2016 palette I decided to give to my sister-in-law because the bronzer, most of the products didn't show up real well on my skin. And I am a light to medium skin tone, sometimes more medium, because I tan extremely easily, and I do wear sunscreen. I preach wearing sunscreen because premature aging is a thing. You know, and I'm 37 years old and I want my skin to look as good as possible. Okay, so that has a beautiful finish to it. I do like how it looks. So I think we're gonna pick up my bronzer brush. This is the Real Techniques 003 brush. This is what I love to use as a bronzer brush. And I just washed these yesterday. I went and washed all my favorite brushes. So you can see it picks up. Okay. So it is a light bronzer. So I would think if you were anything more deeper than me, you might have trouble with it showing up. And the foundation I'm wearing today is the Tarte Double Duty Beauty. I think this is the Face Tape Foundation in the shade 35 Neutral. So again, Okay, it's building up a little bit more. That's better. That's the one thing I don't like though about HourGlass is, to me, their face palettes and stuff, they're not very inclusive. But I have seen like Kinky Sweat use these, and she's darker than I am, and they look beautiful. So, as I said, I was interested this year because last year they had the big palette and then I had a small blush palette. Well, I am blush poor, so I got enough blushes for life. So I like, let's blend bronzer down her neck. That is giving me a lot of good dimension though. I do like that. Okay. What do you think? Okay. But see how nice and blended that looks? Like, I just went heavy handed on that bronzer, and I don't have like everything just looks nice and blended. I don't have any harsh lines. It doesn't settle into wrinkles. HourGlass has some amazing products. So now I'm gonna go into blush. This is a Crown Beauty brush I got from like a BoxyCharm or Ipsy, I don't remember which one. It's just a nice dense brush, so it works well. So you can definitely see a difference between the side that is blushed, that side, I'm still getting used to the monitor, versus the side that isn't. So yeah, one thing I do notice though about HourGlass is it does require a little bit more dense brush than what you're used to, or at least for me. You can't use a flimsy brush with it. But look how pretty that looks. Man, oh man. And to me, this is like the perfect kind of palette to travel with. Though no one's traveling right now, you know what I mean? But, you know, if we ever actually get to travel again. That is a pretty highlight. I love when I finally start getting, like, I love eyeshadow and stuff on my face. But you don't realize how much you need the dimension from like highlight and stuff until you're missing it off your face. Or at least that's how I feel. So I like how all that looks. Now, one thing I typically like to do, so I'm gonna try to dip back into that powder and just kind of go over everything. I really love this brush from BK Beauty, the 104. This is from the Britt Clark bundle. And I love Britt Clark. It is the perfect size to really kind of go over everything and make sure everything's melded together. Plus, I always like to brush over a highlight, especially if it's kind of blinding, because sometimes I prefer a little bit more subtle highlight, if that makes sense. So, setting spray, and we are done. So let's talk about this palette. It's got fingerprints all over it. That drives me nuts. Okay, that's better. So let's talk about this palette. So far, I like it. Went on well. I would definitely recommend if you are in the market for a face palette and you're looking for something more high-end, HourGlass is always a good way to go. Their powder quality is impeccable. I mean, as you can see, my skin looks amazing. I'm 37 years old, so you know, you can't sit there and say, you know, it looks so good. And sometimes, you know what I'm talking about, when you're wearing a bronzer, how lines and things like that can get harsh. There's no harshness to my face right now, which is what I love. So I would recommend this if you're in the market for it. $58 is rather pricey, but again, it is a great product. I love the blush color. It is a good flush. The highlight is blinding, but not too blinding. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? So let me know down below what you think of this palette. Also, don't forget to check me out on all my social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. I do have it linked in the description box. But I guess that's it. So we will probably see y'all tomorrow for another new video. I have a couple of things planned out. But I guess that's it. So we shall see y'all later. Bye.